Hey, Michael, how you doing? I realize I don't have to type, do I? You can hear me. I'm all right. I'm recovering from that fucking COVID malarkey. Got about a couple of weeks ago. So, yeah. Hey, Andrew, how you doing? Let me put my webcam on. There we go. Oh, all right. We're going to give everyone till about 3 minutes past before we get cracking, just because I know that's how long it normally takes till everybody starts to pile in. Hey Bjorn, how you doing, man? You still down in Tenerife? Gran Canaria, yes. Hey, Wes, how you doing, man? Hey, Monica. Monica's one of my team members, guys. She's helping moderate today. If anybody's got any questions, I'm gonna have the chat turned off for myself, so she's gonna be in charge of that. Hey, Joel. All right, we're up to 19 people now, so that's good. We've got 47 registered, so we'll give everyone, 2 more minutes. Oh, wow. Wes, have you used Demio before or something? I can see your picture in here, and I can't see it for anybody else. Huh, I wonder how come. Maybe it's getting it from somewhere online. Yeah. Special Wes, yeah. Demio's like, oh, this is Wes Bush. We better sort shit out for him. All right, 21 people. Cool. So we're going to start in about 1 minute's time, just to give the last few people a chance to get in. Hey, Rob, how you doing? All right, what are we up to? Ed, how you doing, man? You all right? Glad you could make it. Where are you holed up at the moment? Ah, look at that. We've already learned something. All right, I think we're going to get started. Let me share my screen. Oh, you're back home. Nice. Okay, wait 1 second. Just going to move this over. Okay, you should be able to see my screen now. It should say online courses funnel workshop. Can someone let me know if that's all come up for you? Sweet. Oh, hey, Nathan. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Okay, exciting. Looking forward to this. So today we're going to be doing the online courses funnel workshop, and I want to just kick off with a story. So ZenMade, which some of you might know, is run by Amar Ghosh, and what he's been able to do over the last couple of years is a combination of a few things. I can hear my computer starting to whir, so I'm going to turn off the webcam. There we go. Okay. So over the last couple of years, he's been able to have dramatic growth in his business. And I think Bunty might be on the call today. He's been part of that as well. So there's a few things that ZenMade have been able to do that's allowed them to have this huge growth. They've had the front end funnel, a back end funnel, and increased customer lifetime value. So these are three key themes that have worked amazingly well for them to be able to see this increase in revenue growth. And let me show you what I mean in terms of that growth. So we started working with them back in about April 2018. And over that period, the last couple of years, they've reached up to the point of getting close up to that magical number of like, what is it, 83,000 or 81,000 or something like that, where it works out as $1 million a year. Obviously now is not the greatest time for them in the maid service business, but they've had this huge growth. And those three things that I mentioned, the front end funnel, the back end funnel, and the increasing customer lifetime value, those are like the three, and driving more traffic, that's the third one, are the three crucial things. I'm going to explain today how you can use those different ideas. These are huge concepts, they're really, really important. Now, I'm assuming most people here today have already got an audience, probably have got a course, and have got an email list. This is kind of the starting point for implementing these ideas. And now I asked in the survey about this, so I know about half the people here today have got a course, nearly everybody's got an audience, traffic, and a mailing list, and only 20% of people have got a funnel. So we're going to be talking through what kinds of funnels are there, and what can you do to, when should you implement each of them, and how do they all work? So now here's what people tell me. See if any of this stuff sounds familiar to you. People tell me I'm not making as much from my business as I'd like. My customer lifetime value is lower than I'd like. I'm missing out on a lot of new customers. I don't know how to market my course to new leads. Building sales pages and funnels takes a long time, and I don't know where to start. And then there's all of that. And then on top of that, we've added in the coronavirus. So that's all pretty interesting. In the online course space, I feel like we have this amazing opportunity right now. This doesn't have to be seen, for us at the moment at least, as a crisis. This could be seen as an opportunity. There are always opportunities to be found, and there's definitely some in this one as well. So it might be that you're selling something that otherwise people would have had to do in person. And so the number of people who are wanting to learn online goes up. And that's the case in language learning. It might be you've got something people are panicked about, like in the financial area, in which case you've got a lot of people who really want to know more about managing their money. Or it might be that you've got something where it seems like now is a terrible time, but it's possible to change your offer, to change your positioning, or use now as a time to build audience, build trust. And we've got a couple of clients who fall into exactly that situation, who you might think shouldn't be doing well, who are just crushing it at the moment. I'm going to talk to you about that as we go through this. Now, with all of those things, what I find is that people have certain kinds of emotional reaction. They tend to feel quite frustrated with all of that stuff going on, all of those kind of things that are blocking them. So tell me if any of this stuff sounds familiar. Maybe you're missing out on the chance to do much better. You feel stuck. It's a bit overwhelming. You're frustrated. You know you could be doing something better, but you don't know how. You know you need a marketing funnel, but you haven't got time to learn it. Maybe you should just keep working on what you know how to do instead of putting effort into the funnel. And some people say too many choices and shiny object syndrome as well. So all of that kind of stuff is where people are normally starting from. So what we're going to cover today is stuff to help with that. We're going to talk about what's a funnel. What types of funnel are there? What kind of funnel should you build first? And how much might a funnel be worth to you? So let's start off at the end of those. Let's start off with what the fuck is a funnel? So a funnel is simply, if you've got an audience and you've got a course, then a funnel is the thing you use to convert your audience into customers. It's all the steps from a visitor getting to your website to converting to a repeat customer. It's landing pages, emails, sales pages, checkout pages, upsells, Facebook ads, all that kind of stuff, right? Now, the way that a funnel is normally represented in most marketing articles is something kind of like this. Isn't it perfect? Isn't it lovely? Isn't it neat? You know, you pour traffic in the top and lovely money comes out the bottom. But in my experience, most people's funnels are a little bit more like this, and they're just pissing money out left, right, and center. So how much might a good funnel be worth to you? I contend, based on all of my experience, what I've seen, that a really good funnel could potentially be worth millions of dollars to most people. Now that is a big fucking claim. So let me back up a little bit. There's 3 stages to a funnel. There's the back end funnel, the front end funnel, and driving more traffic. These are the 3 stages the way I break it down. So let's have a look at each of those. We start normally at the end with the back end funnel. And the approach we normally use is starting at the end and working our way backwards. So we work on the back end funnel first because it brings the revenue in now and it has long-term benefits. Then we work on the front end funnel because it allows us to scale. And once they're in place, we work on the traffic. And I'm going to expand on all of these ideas a lot more. So don't worry if this isn't making sense here. This is not a small project. Every bit of work you do brings in more revenue, but there is a tipping point where you can start to make tens of thousands more in revenue per month. So I said about making millions of dollars a year from this. So let me talk you through that. So once the front end funnel is working, the front end funnel is the bit that people see straight away. What's the offer they see first? And then within the first 7 days, I count the first 7 days as that front end funnel. Once that front end funnel is working well, then you make money from people straight away. And once you get it working well, you make as much money from it as you spend on ads. So you can spend money driving traffic to it. So what that means is then you can scale ads. And once you can do that, let's look at the sums. If you can scale to $10,000 a day on ads and break even, and this is, I'm not throwing this number out here randomly. I haven't just made up 10 grand a day. My wife is director of a Facebook ads agency, and she said she basically helps people who've got the funnel in place to really scale up. That's their job, a company called Tier 11. And for them, 10,000 a day is kind of middle of the road. That's like a totally average, normal client. So that is something it is possible to get to. And if you didn't know that, that is like 100% possible once you have everything else in place, right? So if you can get to the point where you're spending 10,000 a day on ads and you're breaking even, that means you're making 300,000 a month in revenue from that front end funnel. Now, no profit, mind, but all of those people are new customers. And you should be able to get from each of those customers about twice what you get on that front end in customer lifetime value. Maybe more, but twice is like a reasonable number. Now that works out as $600,000 per month from the back end funnel, which works out as 7.2 million a year. Now it's a bastard lot of work to get there, right? But that's where it's possible to get to with a great funnel. So that's only possible once you've got the funnel in place. So let me talk you through what these different kinds of funnels are, what that looks like. So the back end funnel. The back end funnel is where all the profit is. So you start with this. It's about increasing the 2 things, right? The percentage of people who buy and increasing the average customer lifetime value. Now, why are those 2 things so important? Increasing the percentage of people who buy is about getting someone to buy once, delivering great value, and then they are way more likely to buy from you again. In our experience, previous customers are 20 times as likely to buy as non-buyers. So anybody who hasn't bought before is 1/20th as likely to buy as somebody who has bought. So we are dead keen to get people to buy something from us, to get started, give them great value, over deliver, and then they're much more likely to buy again. So I'll give you an example of this. So Espresso English, Shayna Oliveira runs this business, teach English courses online. And on her Entrepreneurs in Motion podcast, she talked about a recent launch that she did. And she found she had 19 times more revenue per previous buyer than she did from the non-buyers. So her email list, people who hadn't bought anything before, were 1/20th as likely to buy, or 1/19th as likely in her case. And that fits exactly with our experience, what we found with other clients. The second thing we're then trying to do with the back-end funnel is increase the customer lifetime value. And there's a couple of ways that we do this. Various different offers, different priced offers. So for example, you've got a course. Well, maybe you've also then got a more expensive course. You've got one-to-one coaching. Maybe you've got group coaching. Maybe you've got some kind of a done for you service. You've got events. Like, what have you got that's the higher price stuff? Some of those people are willing to spend a lot more. So that's one way to increase the profit. So we do this. We sell a course about how to build funnels, and we've got a coaching program, and we've got a done for you service. And as a result of that, we've managed to increase the amount that every lead is worth to us significantly. So we've got the low price stuff and we've got the high price stuff as well. So that's the kind of idea with the back end funnel, what we're trying to do, right? So that's the about increasing customer lifetime value. I'll give you another example about this. So Amar, who I mentioned at the beginning, who runs ZenMade, he's got a $27 Tripwire offer and a $99 course. And he was talking, he runs a SaaS business, software as a service for helping out maid services, people running cleaning businesses. And he was talking with somebody else who ran I think it was at DCX Medicine, someone who runs a $100 million SaaS business. And this guy was asking him, so what other info products have you got? You know, so he told him he's got a $27 and $99 one. And the guy's like, well, what's your $500 one? What's your $3,000 one, etc. So now he's set up a more expensive one, and straight away he started making money off the back of that, like thousands of dollars more in revenue per month just from that one offer. So that's one of the values of having like more expensive different things you're offering. And if you're interested in kind of finding out how much you can make from this, there's actually a tool called 80/20 Curve from Perry Marshall, where you can put in, it's a bit geeky the way it works, but if you can get the hang of it, you put in how much what percentage of your current list are buying stuff and at what price, and it'll tell you how many people will buy a more expensive offer at whatever price range you're interested in. Okay, so that's the basic concept. That's the basic idea of what we're trying to do. Well, how does that fit with the funnels, right? Well, there's three kinds of funnels we use on the back end. This is what we build for people. This is what we always use. Webinars, Tripwire funnels, and direct email promotion. Now, there are other kinds of funnel out there, but these are the best and the most reliable ones, and they're the only ones we use as a result. So let me explain what each of these is. A Tripwire funnel. A Tripwire is an amazing, super sexy offer. It's like the coolest, sexiest, most fantastic thing that you can sell for about 20 bucks. The point of it is to have something super low barrier to entry so that people can just buy it without thinking too much about it. And we found that like under $20 seems to be a great price point to have for doing that. We've tried things at $47, $97, $17. 17 seems to be like the best one that's worth starting with. So it's always good to start at that point. Now, the point of it is not about making a lot of profit. It's about getting someone to become a customer, like I mentioned before. And this, whatever this Tripwire is, it could be splintered off from your main course. It could be something you've got in your main course already. It could be a resource, could be a module from it, whatever it is that you think is going to convert great. So the second thing, once you get someone to buy a Tripwire from you, so you've offered this $17 thing, people have bought it, the next step in the funnel is having an order bump. And this is something that you put on the checkout page. The idea here is, it's like, let's say you're selling a $27 module, right? This order bump might be a $9 workbook, that goes with that module. And it's just a tick box on the checkout page. And up to 60% of people will buy something at that stage if you offer the right order bump. 60% of people. So that increases the average amount each person's spending. Then the next stage is having the upsell. So this is where you actually get to make some money from it. So you put your more expensive version, could be the full course. It could be some other useful resource that's at 99 bucks. It could be the full course at $300, whatever, we have to test and experiment and try and figure out what else goes well with this Tripwire. And up to 40% of people who buy the Tripwire will then get the upsell as well. Is this making sense so far, guys? Would you just drop some comments in the comments section, just because I can't see everybody, so I just want to know that I'm making sense and it's on track. Awesome. Cool, that's good to hear. All right. So this is then how that looks if we map this out as a funnel. So we've got the Tripwire sales page. That's our $17, $27, whatever thing that we're offering, right? Then we point people to an order page with the order bump, and then we point them to the upsell. And you want here a one-click upsell. We use a tool called ClickFunnels. You might well have heard of it before from Russell Brunson. And it makes this process super, super simple. Really, really easy to do. If they don't buy the upsell, we then send them 3 emails over 48 hours about the upsell. So if they buy the Tripwire but don't buy the upsell, we send them 3 emails telling them that discount, because we'll offer a really good deal here, right? Those 3 emails about the fact the discount's going to be going away in 48 hours. If they buy upsell 1 but they don't buy upsell 2, then we have another 3 emails. So it's not like 3 emails, then another 3, but it's like if they buy this one but they don't buy this one, we'll send 3 emails about this one here. And we can also have the option where if they don't buy it, it then goes to a downsell. So it's like, it might be, we offer here the main course at $300 and they don't get it. We go, okay, well, how about 6 payments of 49 or 3 payments of 109 or something, you know, something along those kind of lines. So I was chatting with a friend of mine, Tom Sears. He now has on his front end funnel 3 upsells, all of them with these email sequences next to it. It allowed him to, he was already making good money on his Tripwire. It allowed him to about double his average cart value. So he's doubled the amount he's making from each person on the front end. And that's something he learned from Frank Kern. So that's the basic idea with one of these Tripwire funnels. And I'll give you another example. So Paintable is a client of ours. Fabian and David, I think, are in the DC. You might know them. Paintable sell a $500 course and a $300 course through webinars. And we also offer 3 Tripwires, which we're selling at something like, you know, 17, 27, that kind of thing, dollars. We had one that was at $27. We reduced the price down to 17, more than doubled the conversion rate on it. So huge, huge improvement. And then after they buy that, that goes through to an offer of their main membership. We've been testing out different upsells there. The one that's worked best at the moment is a $1 trial for 2 weeks of their membership. That's what's working best. So the second kind of funnel you can have at the back end is a webinar funnel. And the webinar funnel is made up of 2 parts, the webinar itself and the webinar funnel, all the bits around it. Now, the webinar itself, I suggest using Russell Brunson's perfect webinar format. I have lost track of how many DCers I've talked to who said they implemented the stuff from Russell Brunson and it helped improve their conversion rate enormously. Tommy Griffiths, String Nikolic, Lydia, I'm trying to remember Lydia's last name, Matcheva, just us, like so many people, the guys at Paintable as well, LearnBnB, just so many people have used this model and it works fantastically. So you can learn about that in his books, .com Secrets and Expert Secrets, which explain about that format. He's got training courses on it as well. We teach people about it. It's just, this is the model. This is the one to use. The second part of it is the funnel. So all the bits that go around it, the emails, the sales pages, landing pages, etc. So let me show you what that looks like. Now I'm going to send you this funnel map in the resources at the end. And I've also recorded a video where I explain this funnel map in detail. And I'll send you a link to that at the end too. But briefly, I want to give you an idea of what these steps are. So this isn't just a picture on a screen. So you get traffic coming into your opt-in page for the webinar. And then if they sign up, they get a confirmation email. After they sign up, they go to a thank you page. You might have a survey or you might have some other kind of confirmation page. They get 2 pre-frame emails, which are useful value to set them up to be excited about the webinar. They have specific kind of ads in advance called Facebook authority ads. They then get 3 reminder emails and a text message so that they attend. If they attend and they go to the sales page, all good. If they don't go to the sales page, they have 3 emails and retargeting to get them back. If they don't attend the webinar, they have 3 emails, Facebook retargeting, and a text message to get them along to it. If they attend the replay, but don't go to the sales page, they have some emails and retargeting to get them back there. If they get to the sales page, next option is to go to the checkout page or the payment plan. Once they get there, they get offered all of those upsells and downsells, that kind of thing. So that's the basic idea with this. There's a lot of stuff to put in place, but when you're doing a full webinar funnel, that's all the steps you want to have. Okay. The third kind of funnel you can have is direct email promotion. And this is where you promote the course directly to your list. Now, what I found here is it's best done with some kind of a discount and then awesome bonuses instead of a discount, and then a reason for why you're offering that discount or offering those bonuses. And the biggest kind of the simplest version reason for it is some kind of time of year. It could be 4th of July, Black Friday, also it could be coronavirus. This is a time when a lot of people are offering discounts on a lot of things right now. Now, when you're sending that out, this is the typical sales funnel we use for that. You have an announcement email at the very beginning, then you have a few content emails, and then you have a couple of cart closing emails. And these emails at the end, these cart closing emails are very, very important. You'll get about half your sales here. People need a deadline in order to go and buy something. For some reason, that's just how it is. What you also can do, and we don't always do this, but we're considering starting, is then having a second deadline. So you might have some bonuses that are available, and the second deadline, they're no longer available. Or you have a payment plan as the second deadline or something else. And that gives you another deadline to drive more people in as well. That's only worth doing if you're doing a big launch as opposed to just a small promotion. Depends on the size of the discount or stuff as well. Same idea, they get to the sales page. If they put something in the cart, they get to the order page. There's an order bump on the order page. They then get an upsell afterwards. So maybe if they've bought the full course, you might offer them another course you've got or some coaching or what have you. And then they get through to the thank you page. And you can put in multiple upsells at this stage as well. So that was the back end funnel, okay? This is, in summary, this is where the profit is, long-term profit. It's about converting leads, people on your email list, into customers, and then increasing customer lifetime value. And there's 3 kinds of funnel: the Tripwire funnel, the webinar funnel, and direct email promotion. All right. You guys with me so far? Is this all good? Sweet. Oh, hey, Chris. Didn't realize you're on. That's cool. Nice. I'm seeing yeses and thumbs up. Excellent work. Cool. So the front end funnel. This is a crucial stage that a lot of people don't understand, and it's super important to get this right. I mean, this is a huge deal, getting the front end funnel right. This is what allows you to scale. So this is the first offer that people get. It's about how much money you can make in the first 7 days. So why does that matter so much? Well, if you want to scale, then at some point you're going to need to drive more traffic. And one of the most popular ways to drive more traffic is through advertising. You can increase your SEO to a point, but after that, you're going to want to drive through advertising. Now, the kind of ads we use, and a lot of people do at the moment, is Facebook ads. YouTube ads is on the up. That's a new area to look into, but Facebook ads is what we use at the moment. When you're trying to scale up Facebook ads, then cash flow is a really big deal. Because if you're spending loads of money on ads and it takes you 2 months before you make your money back, you are well out of pocket. This is a major issue. So you need to reach break even as quickly as possible if you're going to put more money into traffic. And the time frame we look at is 7 days. So what is each new lead worth to you in the first 7 days? Now, I mentioned before, my wife is director of a Facebook ads agency called Tier 11. They're helping people to scale to millions a month in revenue. In order for them to be able to do that, they're great with the ads, but in order for them to be able to do that, they need to be able to reach break even in 7 days. So they have to have a really good funnel in place. So the client needs to come to them with a really good front end funnel, and then they can start to scale. So there's 2 kinds of funnel that you use at the front end: a webinar and a Tripwire. So you'll notice these are the same funnels that are used in the back end, same types of funnels exactly. It's just about when someone sees them. The second thing is it's worth putting more work into the front end funnel because all of your traffic is going to go through that. So some of the additional little tweaks and refinements and what have you, it's worth doing more work on that front end funnel in order to get that one to work extremely well. Now, let's have a look at this again. So Tripwire funnels, I want to give you some examples of Tripwire funnels and how that works at the front end. So I mentioned ZenMaid before. They are a SaaS business. They provide services like a piece of software for maid service owners to use in order to run their business more efficiently. Calendar management, text messages to clients, that kind of thing. It's a great piece of software, works really, really well. Now they've got a membership for that. So people pay them each month an amount for using it. And that's their back end. So the longer people stick around, the more they make on the back end. But their front end funnel is an info product. So even though they're a SaaS business, their front-end funnel is an info product. So here's what they've got. If you download any of their lead magnets, this is what you're going to see. 9 time-saving templates you can use today in your maid service. You've got a welcome letter, credit card authorization, cleaning customer guidelines, all kinds of stuff, right? It is worth way more than 17 or 20. I think they're selling it for $27, way more than that. It's an incredible, oh yeah, here you go, $27, it says on the page. It's a great deal. But their point here is they're just trying to reach break even as quickly as possible with their advertising. So they want to make something that's such a good deal that lots of people will sign up for. That's what they're trying to do. And then also once someone buys, they're more likely to buy something else from them. Paintable, this is one of our clients. I think I mentioned before, they sell courses. We've basically taken one of their courses and splintered out a part of it, made it into a Tripwire for them. And we've put that at the as their front-end funnel. So if you sign up for their lead magnets, you get redirected to buy the 1-week portrait challenge. These guys, their courses are about digital drawing, digital painting. We tested it at $27. Now it's at $17, which is ridiculous good value. And it converts really, really well. And that allows us to cover a lot of the cost of the ads, which allows us to scale the ads up more. The other kind is webinar funnel for putting at the front end. So another example of that, Airbnb, Learn Airbnb. So they renamed to Learn B&B. They're a client of ours, and they are crushing it right now with their webinar funnel on the front end. So even though you might think, well, who rents out B&Bs on Airbnb is going to be spending money on courses right now? They haven't got any money coming in from it. But they've changed their messaging to be about, like, they've got a free webinar at the front end that provides tons of value, and they're getting that in front of as many people as they possibly can. And now is a great time with advertising, because advertising is very cheap. Lots of people have stopped advertising right now. And they've repositioned it to be about, like, how are you going to get ready so that when all this is over, you've got everything in place and you're ready to go at full speed so you can make some of your money back. And then off the back of that, people are then buying their course. So even though this seems like a strange, an audience where you might be like, oh, let's just shut down for a while, they are absolutely crushing it right now with the webinar funnel. And James has got one of the most refined and developed webinar funnels that I've ever seen. So once you've got those in place, right, you've got a back-end funnel and you've got a front-end funnel, the next step to work on is about driving more traffic. And there's a few ways that we can drive more traffic into that front-end funnel. We want to start with existing traffic that you've got and get more people from that into the funnel. And that includes increasing opt-ins and retargeting. And then the next stage is about Facebook ads to cold audiences. So let's talk through those a little bit. Existing traffic. So there's a few ways. So what we find normally is most people, they've got some kind of an email opt-in, they've got an email newsletter, sign up form, or they've got lead magnets in place. And for most people, the normal opt-in rate is 0.5%. So that means 0.5% of people who are visiting their website convert to getting onto their email list. So if you've got 200 people getting to your website, you get one person joining your email list. That's like a normal conversion rate for most people. A good one is about 2%. A great one is 5%. The best we've managed to help anyone get to is 8%. So I'm going to talk you through how we've managed to do that. So one of the things we do is use inline opt-ins. So this is within blog posts, high traffic blog posts. So if you find your highest traffic blog post, your highest traffic pages on your website, and then you take those articles and you create a PDF version of that article. That's all you have to do, create that PDF version. You might design it nicely, right? And then you offer that as the download, and you offer it inline in the middle of the blog post. So let me show you what that looks like. I learned this from Christopher Sutton from Musical You. This is how it looks on his site. So he's got a very popular, his most popular article is about the circle of fifths. Some musical term, I don't really understand it. This is the circle of fifths article. So it got the headline at the top, and then you're scrolling down. And after you get a little bit down, you see this. Get your free download. Get your free instant download of the PDF version of this guide now. And with that, he managed to double the conversion rate on this page just by adding that in. He's added that in a few times. So that's the first one. Second one is about pop-ups. So let's stick with Christopher's site. You stay on his site for 30 seconds, or you go to exit the page, then you see this pop-up. And it's a different, this is their site-wide opt-in, their checklist, musical checklist. Next one is having opt-ins in the sidebar. So if you're on some other article, you'll see in the sidebar, you've got the free musical checklist. So that's over there as well. And then the last one is about having various different kinds of lead magnets, like thinking what's all the different things people might want and putting those on different pages, putting them in different places. All of that between it can increase opt-ins to 8%. So if you go from 0.5 to 8%, that means you've got 16 times as many leads going into that front-end funnel. And the way that works is after somebody signs up for the lead magnet, they are automatically redirected to that front-end funnel immediately. They see that tripwire or the webinar. Okay, second one, Facebook retargeting. So this is about people who got to your website but didn't sign up as a lead, and then retargeting them on Facebook with ads about various different lead magnets that you've got or tripwire offers that you've got. So you could send them straight into your front-end funnel, a tripwire funnel or a webinar funnel, or you could send them to sign up for a lead magnet, or you could do one after another. You could have a few different ads with all those different things. This is going to be one of your most cost-effective ways, but it's limited by your existing traffic. So then we get onto Facebook ads to cold. So there's a couple of ways of scaling these up, and I'm just going to share, there's a number of ways of doing this, but I'm going to share a couple of the top easiest ways to do it. Different audiences. So the easiest one to start with is a lookalike audience of buyers. And that's generally the one we always start with. Then you can do a lookalike audience of your existing traffic, and then start doing audiences, by interest, finding people who are interested in a topic that is likely to mean they're interested in buying your course, and pointing them to either to your lead magnets, or something we're looking into testing is sending them straight to that front end funnel. And then the second kind of way to scale it is different hooks. So what's all the different reasons why somebody might be interested? What's the different benefits that you've got to your offer, to your lead magnet or to the tripwire? Why might somebody be interested in it? And then having different ads for each of those different hooks. Okay, so this is like the 50,000-foot view of funnels, how they work, why they work. And I hope that kind of overall has made a lot of sense and is helpful. But there are two reactions I tend to get at this stage. One, that sounds amazing. And two, it looks like a lot of work. Now, the reason it looks like a lot of work is because it's a lot of work. So is it worth it? Well, if we go back to what we talked about at the beginning, if you can use all of this, put all of this in place, get a back-end funnel in place, a front-end funnel in place, and then drive more traffic through it, there is the potential of getting to the point where you're spending 10,000 a day on ads and breaking even, making 300,000 a month in revenue without profit, but 300,000 a month in revenue, so it's all new customers, and then potentially getting in 600,000 a month. It's like, and even if you don't get that far, it's like that's the kind of potential of where it's possible to get to, and that is not the absolute pinnacle of this. If you've got a big enough audience, if you've got something that's appealing to enough people, and you are able to create great courses, then once you get the funnel in place, this is kind of what's doable. So. If you want more, so what I find is about 30% of people, after they hear about this, they want some more help with how to put it all into practice. We've got a done for you service. We've got a course. If you're interested, then after the Q&A session, stay on and I'll explain about the course. But I don't want to talk about that at the moment. I want to talk about the Q&A. So I've left like 10 minutes for us to go through answering any questions. So if you've got any questions from the stuff we've gone through so far, or you've got specific bits of it around the webinar funnel or a tripwire funnel or something that you want more information on, then start putting those questions into the chat box, and I will go through and I'll answer everything as best as I possibly can. I'll share resources, I'll share examples, whatever I've got that I can do. The first question that I got from somebody during the pre-webinar survey was about technology. I can't remember who it was. This is the technology stack that we use. We use ClickFunnels because it makes building these funnels unbelievably straightforward. And we use ActiveCampaign, and that we use for the email marketing CRM type bit of this. And the reason we use that is because it is a great combination of tons of features, easy to use, and reasonable price. And it has got way more features, way easier than, for example, MailChimp or Campaign Monitor or Aweber or something like that. But it's way simpler than, let's think, what's some of the other competitors, HubSpot or Magento or something that's like, enterprise level like that. We've done a project recently with HubSpot, and I would not recommend it to anybody. It is super hard to use. So those are the two things that I recommend using. We also, other bits of technology we use are Zapier for combining different things together, Demio for doing live webinars, and then EverWebinar for doing automated webinars. And EverWebinar, I've just recently come up with EverWebinar 4, which is supposed to be a lot more reliable. That was the big problem with EverWebinar before, was the reliability. And it's supposed to be a lot more reliable now, so I hear. I see in the comments, Sebastian and Bunty are also super against using HubSpot. Yeah, it's just awful. It took us, oh yeah, and Stuart. It took us so long to build this. I did say 3 times as long to build everything in HubSpot. Okay, Dan is asking, is it worth switching from Drip to ActiveCampaign? Okay, Drip and ActiveCampaign have got almost all exactly the same features. If you are happy with Drip, there is no need to swap to ActiveCampaign. I personally don't like Drip, so I don't use that in the first place. I haven't used it in a few years. So it could have become easier to use, but I found it more complex, and it was kind of built more for developers. So I would say probably not if you're reasonably happy with it. ConvertKit is again kind of similar. ConvertKit is similar-ish to Drip and ActiveCampaign. I think it's a little bit more expensive than ActiveCampaign, and it is a little easier to use, but it has less features. It's more designed for like bloggers, so they've made it a little bit simpler to use, but it's got less features in it. So I feel that ActiveCampaign is the perfect middle ground. I know others who are using ConvertKit and are happy with it. I would say those 3, Drip, ActiveCampaign, and ConvertKit, are the options to choose from. And yeah, ActiveCampaign can help with migration, but Monica's mentioned. But Monica, Monica worked on doing a migration recently for a client from, what was it from, Monica? Was it from MailChimp? I think it was from MailChimp. And they did help a lot, but it wasn't still the easiest thing to do moving over. So it's not a tiny project. Maybe we were unlucky on that one, but yeah, I would say if you're happy with Drip or ConvertKit, then stick with them. Cool. All right. What other questions has anybody got? I've not seen any others come up in here. Does ClickFunnels include the checkout, or do you recommend a different cart? Yeah, so it includes basically the whole process. You need like some, you need to integrate it with some kind of payment processor. Like Monica, you've done this, doesn't you? Stripe or PayPal or something like that. So yeah, but ClickFunnels basically has got the whole system built in apart from the payment processor. So I would thoroughly recommend it for that. You don't need to have like a different checkout system, and I wouldn't recommend doing it in WordPress. I would recommend using some kind of funnel software. Kajabi, I forget now. Is that one of them? 10x Pro. I've never used that, but there's a few different kind of funnel softwares. We're just all in on ClickFunnels. We think it's great. Okay, Sebastian's asked, if you don't have much existing traffic, would that affect your strategy? Right, so the crucial thing with existing traffic here, Sebastian, is it allows you to test the funnel. So what you do is you take all of your lead magnets, you redirect them to your front-end funnel, to the Tripwire funnel, and then you put traffic through that and your existing list, and you send them to the Tripwire funnel. Like, we recommend starting with a Tripwire funnel. I forgot to say this. We've got webinars and Tripwires you can use at the front end. I would say start with a Tripwire. It's much simpler, much easier to use, much easier to build in the first place. A good webinar presentation on its own without the funnel takes at least, I would say, 5 or 6 weeks the first time you do it, like if you're following the system from Russell Brunson. So it's a big job. So do the Tripwire funnel, have all of your lead magnet traffic go into that and promote it to your email list. That allows you to test it. Once you tested it, you can see, right, how well is it converting? Have I got a good enough conversion rate for it to be likely for me to be able to get it running with Facebook ads? Now, the question at that point is, when do you start? What level do you get to when you start testing with ads? Depending on who you talk to, you keep refining it with the warm traffic until it's converting really great. Or some people would say, fuck it, go for it. Just start running ads straight away. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday from my mastermind, and he said, yeah, just start ads straight away. The problem with that is cash flow. If you've got enough cash to be able to spend on testing with ads, great, no real problem. Just run all of that traffic, just run traffic, like spend $50 a day or something on running traffic to the Tripwire funnel and keep tweaking it until it works. I prefer to get it working with the existing traffic first. Let's have a look. Chris has said that sounds good and actually more relevant than I thought for SaaS. Yeah, I mean, I think this is like SaaS businesses are missing out because they don't also have online courses and info products alongside. It's a huge, like, just waiting to be used. Let's see, ClickFunnels is good. Cartflows is a WordPress plugin that mimics ClickFunnels. Yeah, I mean, you can do this in WordPress. We've done it before. But yeah, it's not the easiest. Bunty, Facebook ads person here. If it converts on warm, doesn't mean it'll convert with cold. That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's, I think, one of the reasons Tom was giving. It's like, even if you get it converting well with warm, you still might have to start again with cold. Always start with at least a small percentage of cold traffic. That's really interesting, Bunty. I didn't realize that. Okay, I might take that on board. We might start doing that with our clients as well. All right. What other questions has anybody got? Let me think through what some of the resources I mentioned I'm going to send through to you guys. The webinar funnel map I'm going to send to you, and the video explaining the webinar funnel map, the Tripwire funnel map and the video explaining that. So we'll send those over, and the link to that 80-20 curve. Yeah, Monica's right about that. Issues with WordPress plugins, they don't always interact well with each other. That is basically the problem we ran into. Okay, cool. Well, if no one's got any more questions, then I'll move on to the next section. What I really would appreciate from everybody is if you would fill in our feedback form for us about this workshop. I want to try and make this as useful as possible for DCers. Monica's put a link into the chat box with the link to the feedback form. It'll probably take a couple of minutes to fill it out. And what happens when you fill it out, you get all those resources that I mentioned. You get the webinar funnel map and the Tripwire funnel map and the videos and everything else. So if you would fill that out, that would be awesome. Now, I said I would explain about the Funnel Accelerator program, which is like our course for helping people, but I only want to tell people about this who are actually interested in it. So if you are not interested in hearing about that, then please just go and fill out that feedback form. Send us through any questions afterwards, message us on the DC forum, email me. I'm always happy to help as much as I possibly can. But if you're interested to hear about it, then please stay on the line and I'll explain a little bit more about it. Give everybody 20 seconds to decide which group they're in. All right, I see a couple of people are dropping off. Cool. All right, let me explain about this course then. So we call it the Funnel Accelerator program. And the basic idea of the program is to help you or your team member, if you've got someone in your team, to go from not knowing what your ideal funnel should look like and not knowing how to set it up and losing sales and being frustrated about it, to being sure what to do, having the resources to make it quick to do it, and knowing how to set it up. And as a result, it should help you to drive additional sales on autopilot every month and feel really happy and calm. That's basically what I'm trying to do. And I've been trying to think how to make this as useful as possible for people. So I've gone through and put every different resource in that we can think of. So we've got video tutorials in Teachable Course. We've got examples from people's funnels that you can see, like what should the email look like at this stage? What should the sales page look like? Like how do other people do this? Templates and swipe files, so all of the stuff we've got internally. So swipe files for like how to write the email. If you're promoting a webinar, what should you write in the email? If you're doing a webinar reminder, what do you put in there? If you're doing a Tripwire funnel and you're following up to promote the upsell, what should be in there? We've got templates for like every single email, that kind of thing. Checklists of all the stages, how to make sure you've not missed anything. Troubleshooting resources, how to fix stuff in funnel software, that kind of thing. We have a weekly call for answering people's questions. It's like an 8-week program. Sorry, I forgot to say. And through that, it's like basically how to build a Tripwire funnel. That's what the course covers. So it's just that one funnel, how to build a Tripwire funnel. And then it's an 8-week course. And within that, we have weekly calls to answer questions about what people have gone through in the training. And then there's a Slack channel to answer questions. I answer questions, my team answers questions, just to try and make sure you kind of know exactly what you need to do. You can keep moving forwards quickly. Some people have them and their team member take part in it as well. Let's see. And yeah, it's 8 weeks. And it's basically to support you to build a Tripwire funnel. And then the Tripwire funnel can be used in the back end and the front end. That's the kind of idea with it. That's why we went with that one. It's the easiest one to build. And it's the one that allows you to be able to build something for the back end and the front end funnels. So, and it's we've got a DC deal on it, like a deal for DCers or for anybody. I know there's some people on here who are like boyfriends or girlfriends, whatever, of DCers. So same offer for you guys as well, which is it's normally like $2,000 for this, and we're doing it for $950. So if that sounds like it might be a good deal for you, a good fit, then we're going to be starting the next one in a few weeks. We haven't decided the exact start date. So I wondered if anybody's got any questions about that. If you are interested, we can book a call and have a chat about it, if that would be helpful. I've put the link up on the screen. And Monica, could you paste that link into the chat box as well? If you want to have a chat about it and just check if it's a good fit. I don't want anyone to sign up if it's not going to work properly for them. Or if you're just curious and want to know more about it. But if you've got any questions now about it, then feel free to ask them now and I'll explain more about it. I'm kind of, we've run it twice now, and so I probably need to get better at explaining about it. So if there's any stuff you want to know that I haven't covered, then let me know now. Oh, thanks, Monica. Yeah, she's pasted a bit more info in. That was pretty thorough. Okay, good. All right, I'm glad to hear I've explained it well. That's cool. Thanks, Sebastian. I appreciate the feedback. Like I said before, guys, if anyone's got any questions about funnels, like outside of this course, if you've got questions about it, I've got a thread up on the DC. It's $950, Chris. Called the funnel thread. You can ask questions on there. Ballpark price on our done for you service, Dan, it is $4,000 a month, but we always start with an audit, which is $950 to basically plan stuff out for you. So we do a thing where we do map out your current funnel, map out your ideal funnel, we map out your a plan of how to build it, and then figure out about how much money you might make from it. And that audit is $950. We always start with that. Sebastian, is there a particular stage participants would need to be at with their business to get the best value from the accelerator? Best value from it, I would say if you've got traffic already and you've got an email list to test stuff out with and a course, then you're pretty much good to go. I mean, if you've got some money set aside to spend on ads, that's fine. It's not the way I normally start. I know Bunty said he does so. Dan, that's sales copy, email copy, etc. Yeah, Dan, we do everything. It's like sales copy, email copy, design, automation, planning, the whole kit and caboodle. Yeah. Nathan, what size traffic or email list? That's a good question. When we're doing a done for you service, we suggest people having at least 10,000 visitors a month and probably like a 10,000 minimum email list. For the coaching, for the course, I would say it definitely doesn't need to be that big. Maybe a couple of thousand visitors a month, something like that. No, Joel, that's a 4,000 a month for building all of this stuff out, because it can take a long time to build all of this. So in 1 month we might build one funnel, and then in another we might build one Tripwire funnel and set up some tracking, and then in another month we might start on a webinar funnel, and the next month we finish the webinar funnel and we start setting up another Tripwire funnel. Then we do a direct team operation. So it's an ongoing service, and the more of the funnel we build, the better off it is in terms of the amount that you make out of it. Like, most people stick around with us for at least 6 months. And what they find is every month they're making more back. Like, we've got a client at the moment that's been around for 3 or 4 months, and he's now making an extra $5,000 a month. And we expect next month that to go up to 6,000 or 7,000. The next month it will go up a bit further. And eventually it will be so good that it will start to really spike, because we'll be able to run more cold ads. Cool. All right, sweet. Oh, wow, Monica's added in like all the different bits that we do. Thanks, Monica. Cool. All right. I don't know if anybody else has got any other questions. Doesn't look like. I'm trying to think what regular questions are that people normally ask us about. Things that come up a lot. No, brain's gone blank. Okay, cool. Well, if anyone does have any other questions after this, you guys have all got my email, John at Data Driven Marketing. Thanks, Chris. Really appreciate you coming on. Nice to see you, kind of. Hope you're well. All right, guys, I will talk to you all later. Cheers, Nathan. Thanks, Rob. No worries, Henry. Cheers. Thanks, Ed. Say hi to Rianne from me. That's funny. Cool. Laters. I'm guessing everybody who's left probably works at Data Driven Marketing. So, hey guys, maybe let's have a Zoom call and just catch up afterwards. All right, I'm going to hang up now.